7. Things you dare not confront when faced with these words. There are certain phrases in life that make us stop, reflect, and sometimes fear. Fear because they act as a mirror reflecting your true self. Are you ready to face them? Today, I will share with you 7 phrases that you would never dare confront. But the truth is, they will change your life. 1. Are you living the life you truly want? Your voice is slow and questioning. When you hear this question, what is your first reaction? Is it confusion, guilt, or a feeling of emptiness, as if you've just realized you're not living the life you chose for yourself? Are you living in habits, responsibilities, and expectations placed on you by others? And deep down, do you realize that your life is not truly what you want? This question forces you to confront the truth about yourself that you've been avoiding. We often accept our current life, even when it's not exactly what we want. What we tend to do is seek safety, stability, and sometimes live up to the expectations of others. But have you ever really stopped to think about the dreams you haven't chased? The aspirations, the plans you've long forgotten, just because you thought, this is the only path, or I don't have the strength to change? And this is why you fear confronting this question, because it forces you to face your own decisions. It requires you to look back at your past, at the choices you ignored, the opportunities you declined just because you were afraid of change. It demands that you confront the truth that you might have overlooked important things in life in the name of comfort and complacency. This question is not just an interrogation, it's a wake-up call, a reminder that you can change everything if you truly want to. However, that's a hard step, because sometimes comfort and familiarity are easier than facing uncertainty and major changes. What do you fear when you think about change? Fear of failure? Fear of ridicule? Or simply the fear that you're not capable? That's why this question is such a big challenge for anyone. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and forces you to confront yourself, your desires, and the long-buried dreams. But only when you dare to face it will you be able to begin the journey of finding the life you truly want. If you keep avoiding it, you'll only live a life that others have built for you, not the life you've chosen for yourself. 2. Have you done your best? Think about it. If I asked you this question, would you feel embarrassed? How would you react? Perhaps you would feel shy, awkward, because a part of us always wants to believe that we've tried our best. We often deceive ourselves saying, I've done everything I could, when in reality, we could have done much more. This question acts as a mirror, reflecting the things we avoid, the truths we don't want to admit. What if I told you that perhaps you haven't truly done your best? How would you respond? Most of us would feel uncomfortable because we don't want to face the truth that we could have done better. But have you ever asked yourself, did you really give yourself the chance to show everything you've got? Or have you settled for what feels safe, for what you thought was enough? We often stop once we reach a certain level. Maybe when we complete a task well enough to get a compliment, or when we feel like that's enough. But the truth is, our abilities have no limits. We can do much more, even several times more than we think. The problem is, we've never truly tried, or we've only tried within a limited scope. Sometimes we only do enough to not fail, but not enough to succeed. We fear that if we do our best, the results may not meet our expectations, or we might fail. But do you know what makes people successful? It's their ability to give their all, to not fear failure, and not fear uncertainty. Successful people are not those who always have perfect results. They are the ones who dared to step out of their comfort zone and gave their all, even though they didn't know the outcome. They don't accept mediocrity, and they are not satisfied with completing the task at the minimum level. They set higher goals, challenge themselves more, and never stop until they achieve their best. When faced with this question, You may feel embarrassed because it touches a truth you've been avoiding. You could do more, you could try a little harder, but you've chosen not to. You've chosen comfort, ease, and safety. This question is a challenge to face yourself, not just to look at the outcome, but to look at the process, the efforts you haven't truly invested. We often justify ourselves by saying, I don't have enough time, or I've already tried my best. But truly, are you willing to stop and ask yourself if you've really given yourself enough opportunity to achieve what you want? Or have you already set limitations on yourself from the start? And here's the most important point. If you haven't done your best, the results will be so much different. Sometimes all we need to do is try a little harder, push through a little more fear, and invest a little more time and effort. It's these small efforts that bring about big results. And when you realize this, you'll understand that if you truly give your all, nothing is impossible. So, this question is not just an interrogation, it's a call to action. Don't let laziness, fear, or complacency stop you from achieving what you truly want. Face the truth. You can do better. You can do more. And when you dare to give your all, you'll realize that life is not just about what you have, but about what you can achieve when you push beyond your own limits. 3. If you don't change, life won't change. This phrase has a strange power, like a cold splash of water to the face, jolting you awake. If you don't change, life won't change. It sounds simple, but it's a truth that few dare to face. Because if you truly understand this saying, you will realize a truth that we often avoid. The failures in life are not caused by circumstances, not by others or external factors, but by the fact that we ourselves haven't changed. The reality is, we all have goals, dreams, but we often feel like our lives are stuck in place. Why is that? It's because we continue doing what's familiar, thinking the same old way, and acting based on the habits we've formed over time. We've become comfortable with not changing, and change always seems scary. Change can make us feel unsafe, uncertain. Change means embracing discomfort, stepping out of the comfort zone where we've been for years. But because we fear change, our lives remain the same, stagnant, going nowhere. If you don't change, you'll stay trapped in old thoughts, poor decisions, and the vicious cycle of laziness. You'll blame your circumstances, blame others, but in reality, you are the one stopping yourself from changing. The truth is, change is never easy. It requires you to overcome fear, hesitation, and sometimes even your own ego. Change may make you feel insecure, but it's precisely the key to moving forward. If you want a different life, if you want to achieve things you've never had, you must change. Change the way you think, the way you act, and how you see the world and yourself. But the question is, do you have the courage to change? Are you ready to face the uncertainty, the difficulty of starting over? Or will you continue living in old habits, making excuses like, this is just how life is, or circumstances don't allow? Change may not be easy, but it is the only way to move from where you are to where you want to be. If you don't change, you'll never get different results. You'll remain stuck, watching life pass by without doing anything to change it. So why would you want to live in boredom, in what's outdated, when you have the chance to step out and change it? This phrase isn't advice, it's a wake-up call. If you don't change, if you don't dare step out of your comfort zone, your life will never be different. But if you have the courage to change, you will see the miracles life can offer. So, are you ready to change? 4. Are you afraid of failure or afraid of success? It may sound silly, but have you ever thought that you might be afraid of success? We often worry about failure, but we forget that success can bring its own fears. Success requires responsibility, expectations from others, and sometimes the anxiety of not being good enough to maintain that success. So, part of us may actually fear success more than failure because it thrusts us into a new world full of challenges. Are you living for others or for yourself? Most of us live according to the expectations of others. Do you see yourself in that? For family, for friends, for society, we easily let others draw the path for us. We do things that others want, sacrificing our own dreams to please those around us. But have you ever asked yourself, am I living for myself or just living according to the expectations of others? Sometimes we forget that this life is ours, not anyone else's. Are you brave enough to live as your true self, even if it's not perfect, even if it might make others unhappy? Are you willing to give up the familiar to pursue your own dreams, even if it might make you feel a little lonely? Living for yourself doesn't mean being selfish or not caring about others, but it means living with freedom and honesty. Only when you live true to yourself can you experience true happiness. Therefore, this question isn't just an interrogation, but a call to action. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, who am I living for? 6. If not now, then when? Are you still waiting for the perfect moment? Are you still saying, just a little longer? But have you ever asked yourself, how long will a little longer last? Don't wait. Time won't wait for you. That's a hard truth to face, because we tend to procrastinate. We wait for things to be perfect, for us to be more confident, for more money, or for the right moment. But when the right moment comes, you might find more reasons to postpone once again. And so, you keep slipping further into the cycle of procrastination. The truth is, there's no perfect moment. Life is always changing, and if you keep waiting for the ideal time, you'll stay stuck in place. Everything can always be improved, but you have to act now. Don't let opportunities slip away just because you hesitate. Remember, if not now, then when? Time can't wait for you, and if you don't take action today, you might lose this opportunity forever. 7. What will your life be like if you don't change your way of thinking? The mind is the one thing that determines everything. If you don't change the way you think, you'll stay stuck in the same old cycle. Are you willing to change your thinking to change your life? Or will you continue living with outdated beliefs, trapped in fear and insecurity, too afraid to change? The truth is, we are afraid to face the truth, afraid to see our own shortcomings, and afraid of the uncertainty that change brings. But the scariest thing isn't failure. It's never even trying. Not daring to step out of our comfort zones, not daring to face new challenges. And when you don't change your thinking, you'll remain stagnant, trapped in old habits and decisions, never knowing what life could be like if you dared to take a new path. We all have fears and doubts inside, but if we don't face them, we'll stay stuck. Sometimes the real challenge isn't the change itself, but whether you have the courage to face your own limitations and the thoughts you've carried for years. Are you ready to let go of the excuses and step out of the box you've built for yourself? Only when you dare to confront these questions can you change. Only when you face these words can you know what you truly want in life. You'll realize that change doesn't come from the outside. It starts with how you think, how you view life. And when you change your thinking, you'll change how you see yourself, the world around you, and ultimately, your life will transform. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let the comfort of avoidance cause you to miss the opportunities life has to offer. When you face yourself, you'll experience miraculous changes you never imagined. You'll realize that sometimes a small decision, a shift in thinking, is all it takes to change your life. Try confronting one of these questions today. Don't just think about it. Act on it right now. You'll never know how your life can change if you don't step out of your box. if you don't challenge the limits you've set for yourself. Step out of fear and discover the most amazing things life has to offer.